I am Richard Culas from Sturt University. I wish to have an introduction to discussion 4, which relates to economic and social options for managing groundwater and livelihood decline in Pakistan. I will brief what was our approach in general, the findings in general, and the scope for further analysis. My colleagues from each province will present the specific aspects related to each province. The socio-economic study of this project has focused on finding better options for groundwater management with improved water use efficiency. The study has been undertaken for Punjab, Balochistan, and Sindh provinces using the socio-economic data collected from selected case study areas. Um, our economic analysis has been conducted to estimate different efficiency measures at farm level, such as technical, allocative, and economic efficiency, and water use efficiency and crop performances as in relation to gross margin and benefit cost ratios. We also analyzed farmers' adaptation to irrigation methods. The findings of economic analysis have implications for economic and agronomic options and irrigation methods that farmers can adapt to improve livelihood as specific to each province. In addition, on-farm interventions are also developed with the case study farmers through stakeholder forums and RAPs. The findings from socioeconomic study have also implications for an integrated economic analysis with future groundwater scenarios to design optimal farming systems.
The topic of my presentation is economic and social options for managing groundwater and livelihood decline in Punjab. Punjab is considered as the food basket of Pakistan, and in Punjab, Bari Doab is the study area having a zero point 0.8 million hectare of farmland. Zero point 0.3 million farm families are depending on the agriculture sector, and this Bari Doab has mixed cropping patterns. The majority of irrigation is by the use of groundwater, which is 60 to 70% of the total crop water requirements. Farmers grow same set of cropping over the years, yet not restricted homogeneous crop rotations. Farms are resource scarce, as around 80% of the farmers they are not having access to farmer credit sources. Majority of farmers are low educated, and they don't have the formal extension services. Farms are small and extensively cultivated, having the cropping intensity of around 200%. The key results of this project are: number one, the farmers are relatively technically efficient, whereas having a higher allocative inefficiency, which is showing input cost affecting more as compared to input quantity. The adopters of water smart practices attributed to the limited supply of canal water, climate change, rapidly declining groundwater table, and increasing soil salinity over the time. Number three, the uniform germination, higher yields, financial returns, and increase in resources use efficiencies are the main advantages of water smart practices. Next, farm characteristics, economic and social capital, technical training, and resources of information affect the adoption of water smart practices. And the last key result is water use efficiency and water productivity analysis showed that farmers are using 50 to 60% more water than the actual crop water requirement, which is suggesting the need for improvement in irrigation management, training, and capacity building. Now, what the impacts of this project have? Number one, the infrastructure capital, that is the equipment and software. Number two, the human capital, that is the capacity building of students and early career researchers. Number three, the groundwater monitoring and modeling. Number four, on-farm interventions are developed with the case studies, farmers through the stakeholder forums and through RAPs. Number five, increased understanding of groundwater issues rather than increased direct actions. Number six, enhanced communication across all stakeholders. And the last one is the publication in the form of research papers, book chapters, technical reports, and the presentations in seminars and workshops, etc. Now, what are the recommendations? The farmers can save inputs such as the water, which is very crucial input, increase their production and could earn more profit by adopting water smart practices. Number two, the poor access to farm services limits the adoption of water smart practices. And number three, be based on quality research data and therefore build on the expertise being developed in physical and socio-economic research and modeling like systemic inquiry, RAPs, biophysical monitoring and modeling, and integrated analysis and future scenarios. These are the few glimpses of the research activities in the project area. Thank you.
I am Syed Khair. I am going to present the Balochistan socio-economic study findings and economic and social options for managing groundwater and livelihood decline in Balochistan. This study was conducted in Kuchlag subbasin and Pashin subbasin, and information was collected from some 104 farmers on socio-economic characteristics, current agricultural and irrigation practices, and sources of livelihood. Analysis was done to compute the technical, allocative, and economic efficiencies of different crops, along with water productivity, grass margin analysis, and the degree of overwatering of crops. On the right hand side, the interactive sections, the interactive sessions with farmers are shown. In the next slide, the results are shown. According to the results, the experienced persons heading the households, very few farmers received any trainings from agriculture department or NGOs or someone else. Income was mainly generated from agriculture, followed by the livestock. Inputs mainly attained through a non-institutional credit. That was the main source of capital. That was conditional as well. Expensive and low quality crop inputs was a problem reported by the farmers. Traditional flood irrigation method is mainly used. Grass margin analysis shows that irrigation was the largest cost component and apple was the most remunerative crop. The reason for irrigation being the largest cost component was that the deep groundwater tables and lack of electricity and the use of electric generators to supplement electric tubes. Uh, Inefficiency was found in terms of water, fertilizer, and seed use, and low crop water productivity was also found. The recommendations suggest that good agricultural practices training need to be given to the farmers to enhance their skills on proper crop inputs use and crop input mix. Minimize waste of irrigation water through introduction of high efficiency irrigation systems, low delta crops, and farmer trainings are improved water management practices. We have experienced that high adoption of the above technologies is possible if a complete package of technology is offered. This complete package include HEIS, plants, advice, design and layout of the plot like we have done in our interventions. So there is highly likelihood that farmers will adopt that easily. The other recommendation was that water storage and recharge mechanism should be built for the future efficient water use and water storage. The next slide shows that the problems are not only restricted to the production area, the marketing is also a problem. The farmer use the traditional way of marketing their crops, therefore there are high post-harvest losses and small margin for the farmer community. This area also needs to be given attention in future. This was all about my presentation. Thank you very much.
My presentation is about Sindh socioeconomic study undertaking an ACR-funded groundwater project. It was observed that majority of the farmers were small farmers having 12.5 acres of land. High disparity in availability of canal water was also observed. It had middle tail of the miners. Those were case study sites of the study. In tailend areas, 70 to 80% cultivation depend on tubal waters that cause deterioration of both quality and quantity of groundwater. And it adversely affects the soil quality as well. Therefore, the number of fallow land hectares are increasing with the passage of time. Farmers use flood irrigation and monocropping cultivation. Less linkages between the farmers and the stakeholders were observed, and quality of inputs at proper prices are also not available to the farmers. Interventions that were initiated at both sites were established stakeholder forums involving male and female, introduced Apna Pani app and farmers cards, consultation with the farmers experts, and based on the discussion in a stakeholder forum, consultation with the farmers experts and represented agriculture pathway analyst workshops, intercropping in ridges were ridge sowing were identified as suitable options for the water management. As far as impacts of the intervention is concerned, after harvesting, results of the intervention shows promising socioeconomic impacts. Farmers introduced with new cultivation methods, and they adopt ridge sowing first time in their areas. By intercropping, farmers save 45 to 50% of irrigation water, and they get 70 to 80% more income from intercropping as compared to the monocropping or traditional cropping. First time, farmers also cultivated a new low delta crop canva. And as the stakeholder forums benefits are concerned, it is observed that stakeholder forums help to enhance the linkages among the stakeholders, and they learn from each other experiences. Youth through Apna Pani app and farmers card check groundwater quality and help to motivate their elders for groundwater management. Based on all these interventions and observations, recommendations these are the recommendations. Promoting efficient irrigation methods, proper implications of laws that promote equal distribution of water along the head, middle and tail areas, because there is a lot of disparity among the of availability of water at the tail end areas and head and middle. Implications of groundwater management plans and regular monitoring and groundwater quality, cultivation of low delta and salt tolerant crops, farmers trainings on improving groundwater management and agronomic practices, improve improve availability of farm inputs and pricing, providing small tools of groundwater management to the farmers, promotion of high value crops and value addition through the involvement of females along with youth for marketing and communication that will increase farmers' income that can have trickle-down impact on adaptation of high efficiency irrigation technologies in study sites. Thank you.